Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back with another live stream. It is Friday, October 6th, and with the new Monday, Wednesday, and Friday streaming setup, and with YouTube being very random about whether it announces things, we are here. Those two things are not related at all. I don't know why I put an and there, other than to just show that's what I'm thinking about. The Monday, Friday, Wednesday setup issue, though, is this. We've got to get all three of these daily quests done today so I can not have to play any at all on Saturday and Sunday, because I wouldn't be streaming any of that anyways, because it seems pretty consistent that weekend streaming works even worse than Friday streaming. So every Friday is going to be the long time, and every Friday I guess is kind of the wrong time too. I think we've already done the Tavern Brawl, so we don't have to worry about that. So 3 games in a class, Druid or Rogue. Okay, so let's just play some ranked Rogue. If anybody wants to play me, and particularly if anybody wants to let me win, that would be great. But otherwise, I think we're good. There is a decent amount of news that has built up from the week, so we can cover some of that. The only real question here is, are we gonna get anybody in the chat or anybody that can stretch out the game? Really, chat is just the lifeline of live streaming. I should also say I accidentally deleted the last live stream, so if you're trying to watch that, apologies. I don't know why you would. At this point, I did it yesterday on accident when I was trying to delete something else. And there's no recycling bin or undo button on YouTube's video manager, which seems ridiculous. Wow. Okay, quick victories. Good. So I have the original recordings, and I'll break that up, and that'll be some video that comes out 3 months from now. But until then, people are just gonna have to wait. I guess we continue playing. We have a new guy in the chat called Jogi who put a emoji, smiley face, kissy face with a heart. Interesting. Jogi, that's not how you pronounce that. Jogge. It's probably Yog, if I was to guess. Hello, Yog, if that's how you pronounce your name. Discord has a new video chat and screen sharing functions, which I suppose is moving Discord to be a lot more useful and make a lot more sense for end users. There's still, like, adding video chat and adding screen sharing doesn't do anything for a YouTuber, and that's kind of the weird thing, is that an app like this kind of needs to get YouTubers to support it and use it a lot and promote it, and yet it's not offering anything yet that wouldn't hurt them also as far as getting views on YouTube or Twitch if you're a Twitch streamer. So no professional YouTuber or Twitch streamer that's trying to make ad revenue through making content on those services is going to lose that ad revenue by screen sharing what he's doing, and video chatting will maybe work for a little, like a really tiny amount of streamers, but if you video chat with your fans, you're really going to create a huge mess. Let's see. But for the end user, of course, video sharing and screen sharing makes more sense. I wish they upgrade the system, the menus to like a simple mode, because I'm thinking of like old grandparents trying to talk to their great grandkids, and if they want to compete with Skype, that's really where it's going to come down to, is can this let's see, can I do this instead? And kill that guy, I guess. Yeah, so non-technical, technology-minded people would have a lot of trouble using Discord. As for my own personal trying to learn and understand and see if I can use Discord, just still no integration in it. Like, nothing that
this guy's toast.
Let's see. I guess I should have killed this guy.
Here we go.
There we go. Moving on to the next story. I'll continue to try to learn Discord. Inside every Xbox One X is a sketched picture of a tiny Master Chief with riding a scorpion, because it was called Project Scorpion. Not really a story worth saying anything. That's pretty typical. I'm surprised that in the world of making things in bulk, they don't disallow things like that, but it probably is all laser etched anyways, so it's probably an insignificant and useful way to prove that your product is genuine and not a knockoff, by putting an intricate picture that shows that this was actually made in their factories and not some knockoff factory. Or maybe they just don't care. Moving on to a more video game related story. We're going through them pretty quickly. Microsoft has backtracked a little bit, from what I hear, on the controversial changes to the Forza 7 VIP pass. I'm still not sure that, just on the face of it, with so many cars and a clunky interface, from what I saw, that an average racing game player would like it. I feel like I'm probably in the wrong on that. It is very possible that people absolutely do want to be able to have hundreds and hundreds of different cars, but as somebody who just wants a limited selection of good cars, and then to just move on with his life. Forza 7 seems too complicated for me. The thing that, as I'm reading this article, just to make sure that I'm saying the right thing, the thing that they did different is now they're just making The studio will give Forza 7 VIP 4 additional cars along with 1 million credits. What's more, the VIP system will now work exactly as it did in Forza Motorsport 6, offering 2x base credit bonus for after each race. So instead of some upgrade that only worked for a brief amount of time, and then that it was a consumable, otherwise, I guess just make damage here, and then end the turn. So they went too far, basically, and they went back to the way it worked in Forza 6. That being said, the VIP system still is kind of this premium extra DLC that is hurting the game. So we're effectively only slightly fixing a system that was broken probably many games ago. Who knows how many? Maybe it was as far back as a Forza 3 that you could just, in a realistic amount of time, unlock all the cars without having to be in the VIP system to get double the cash to unlock more of the cars. It seems like Forza is pretty consistently full of way too many cars. Compare that to Dirt 3 or Dirt Showdown, where there's not that many cars, but it's still plenty of them. At a certain point, there's a split in my mind, at least. There are games where cars actually mean something. They have better steering speed, top speed, acceleration, better handling, lower weight to the front or back of the car, depending on what your driving engine is. There are cars that actually feel different when you drive them. And then there are games where they all drive just about the same, or it's hard to even tell if any of them drive different, because there's so many of them. Go look out the Giant Bomb quick look of Forza 7. It is just this huge menu of cars, and as a person who doesn't really have an infatuation with cars, they all just kind of look like cars to me. I have no interest in any of them. I would just see if I could find the stats, or maybe even go to a cheat page and say which one of these is the best for me, and then try to get it. On top of that, Forza 7 has a tier system that even if you're in the VIP system, doesn't fully unlock. You don't get fully unlocked out of that. So you start, if you're a VIP, at tier 3. If you start a regular game, you're at tier 1. You have to buy multiple cars at tier 1 before you can buy tier 2. I believe you have to drive quite a few of the cars for quite a while before you can even go to tier 2, and that goes all the way up to tier 5.
Everyone panic!
And so, oops, I should have probably killed that guy. I have been interested in playing racing games though, because I've managed in this year to play Dirt 3 and Dirt Showdown. 2 games no longer available. So maybe next year, if I can get it cheap, I'll play Dirt 4. Dirt probably isn't the best series for me, but I don't know what really is. So, I guess I am in a little bit of a quandary there. Let's do this, and then this. Moving on to the next story, Epic confirms thousands of Fortnite Battle Royale cheaters have been banned. The studio also says it's cracking down on cheating, cracking down on cheating is its highest priority. So that tells you, I guess, 2 very easy things to realize. Is one, it was very easy to cheat, in Fortnite, and 2, it was very easy to get caught cheating in Fortnite. Let's see. We do this, and then this,
Here we
and
go.
then this,
Hey,
and then that. I was hearing, and I guess I can only really put this in the rumor column because I don't think there's an actual story that I could point to back this up, but I was hearing that instead of what Bluehole PUBG creators were afraid of, I imagine, of a lot of people leaving PUBG and going on to play Fortnite Battle Royale, it seems actually that just the same people that were playing PUBG also were playing Fortnite Battle Royale. Now that's probably
lights out.
not gonna last.
Here we go.
Almost certainly eventually there will be a burnout, or there will be yet another Battle Royale style game that comes out, and eventually the low man on the totem pole will get knocked out out of the cycle of the number of games there. That's a very different response than what happened to, say, Battleborn and Overwatch.
The light protects me.
I imagine that's probably because Battleborn wasn't just a pure Overwatch clone. It had this evolution system. It had some problems. Arguably, it might have even suffered from just people not liking
I usually work alone.
not liking Randy Pitchford, the CEO of Gearbox Studios. Probably some bad advertisement and bad push too. Definitely some bad release timing. Moving on to the next story. Ubisoft is going to repurchase 4 million shares as it continues to fight against a hostile takeover from Vivendi. And man, I kind of wish that story would just end. We have Darian in the chat saying hello, just stopping in to say hi real quick. Hi, Darian. Yeah, I've said it before, I don't think it improves or helps anything if Vivendi were to take over Ubisoft. Ubisoft is garbage, but Vivendi's even worse. And perhaps the real savior for Ubisoft is if they were bought out by their own by a different company, or they just went fully private, which I guess in the end that might solve a lot of things. If Ubisoft went fully private and wasn't always focused on shareholders and making profit every quarter, then they could reevaluate how their entire company is run, and instead of giving us sequel to Assassin's Creed games every year so they have that annual income, they could take a step back and say, what's the level of quality we want to do, and maybe they could actually involve the actual creators of the games in that. Let's see.
I usually work alone. No time.
Refresh your hero power.
Here we go.
Job done.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I wonder if you could actually force a company into going private. No, because if a company wants to be public, they will do everything else in their ability to stay public. And I don't know if you can easily go from public to private. As far as a company, I don't know what you would have to do. Would you have to buy back all the shares from all of the investors? at a market price. Like, I don't know if it's even possible. Yeah, that's an interesting thought. Ideally, I'd want all companies to go private. I've gotten into the economics rant there, where the idea of a stock market just takes the purpose of a business existing from making a product and service into making money by scam or scheme to pay rich investors. So let's see. Double Fine is showing off Psychonauts 2 first playable milestone level, so they're slowly making progress here. Let's watch this video. It's looking good at the face of it. They've really got to do a good job on Psychonauts 2, because if they screw this up, Double Fines doesn't really have anything else to lean on. They're not gonna come back and make a Brutal Legend remake and catch people's attention. They're not gonna be able to remake things like Full Throttle again, or Monkey Island games or anything like that. So this is the last of the nostalgia that they've been living off of, and it's kind of their only original game that's been on the table for them to create in, I would imagine, at least half a decade. That being said, this looks fine. This is a 14-minute video. It's an old school 3D platformer. Maybe there's collectibles, something. I imagine. If you're not familiar with the concept of Psychonauts, you're this psychic kid that you can go into the mind of other people, and when you go into the mind of other people, you go into these weird, crazy worlds, and you're trying to fight an enemy of sorts. So right now they're showing off a goat. I'll say that this animation style is not 100% the best looking graphics ever. It's a low polygon cartoony art style, so they're not going for a real world 3D appearance, but that's in line with Psychonauts 1, so you wouldn't expect that. Apparently Nightbot's broken. I had to sign out, so I wouldn't be surprised if Nightbot doesn't even work. I'll have to deal with that later. Let's see.
Here we go.
This, and then this, and this, and that. Still watching this video. This video is really long, and they're selling this video as the first playable level, but the vast majority of the video is people talking and very low footage. I would argue that Psychonauts 2 is taking longer than it should. This is slightly the problem when the story has been coming up more and more lately, of the problem of announcing games really early and letting people in on the development. It causes you to have the end user to have way too much information and not get hyped at the right times. It's just bad marketing, honestly. Video game creators particularly, and old video game, well, some video game reporters too, are working really hard to push this idea that video game players are any more toxic than any other community, which is ridiculous. It's just the same. Wrestling fans are pretty bad. Video game fans are pretty bad. Record snobs are pretty bad. I mean, like, it's comic book fans. It's everybody. Like, all of it. That's just fandom. That's always been what fandom was. You always have a percentage of that. And while Jim Sterling's new series of Comedicary, whatever it's called, where he dresses up as like a French aristocrat and reads comments off of the internet that I assume are real. That too is a very sneaky Trojan horse way of pushing this idea that video game players are toxic and that everybody's got a problem and everybody needs to police themselves and others in their speech. And it's like, come on, everybody's here just to play games. You're making this way too much of an issue. But to get back to what I was saying, so video game developers are saying it's scary, it's not the right idea, I can't talk to anybody about my ideas or what I'm doing on my game because people criticize it, because people are mean about it. They will mislabel criticism as harassment, and because there's no real nice way to do it. They're a bunch of snowflakes. They're wimps. They're literally people who spend most of their lives programming and in front of computers, and they just don't know how to deal with conflict or people. But that's fine. Programmers shouldn't be talking about or promoting their games anyways. Even if you're an indie developer, you should have somebody in charge of marketing. And the people in charge of marketing should know what they should be doing, and they should be handling the message and putting out all the comments. So I think what eventually they're going to have to all realize is you can have a private Twitter set to private. You can have a private Facebook. But if you're a programmer, if you're anybody in the industry that is not specifically trained to control the marketing message for selling this game, then you need to not put out any public information. It needs to be a tight ship. Like, loose lips sink ships is the old Navy saying, and that's exactly what we need here. Is everybody needs to realize in the video game industry, don't say anything unless marketing has been over it, unless you've had 5 different meetings, unless you've spent 5 hours saying, I want to put out this 140 character tweet and let's look over every single word. Let's think about every single thought. Let's see what the backlash might be. Let's have responses written for any backlash. And clearly that's not even what happens in giant companies like the WB. Like, it goes right down to one of their players, one of their developers dying of cancer, and them trying to sell DLC, and then them taking some of the profits from that DLC and giving only some of the profits from some of the United States to the family. And it's like, clearly there was not enough thought put into that. There was not enough planning. There was not enough, just in general, marketing people and PR people, public relations people, in that room when that idea came about. That was clearly an idea either from genuinely kind-hearted programmers who didn't think it through, or genuinely greedy CEOs who have no connection to normal people anymore, so all they see is money signs when they look at people. There was clearly nobody in public relations worth a lick in those conversations. So maybe that'll be my only rant for this weekend. So let's move on to the next. Let's see, the game, The Flame and the Flood, is coming to the Switch next week, October 12th. Let's see. I want to look at the trailer of The Flame and the Flood. I think I kind of wanted to play it. I think it also, though, is just one of those games where, yeah, I remember this game. It's simply just a game where it had, I don't think, a story per se, because it was this kind of roguelike. You're going down this this river, not particularly because of, wow, I don't even know why you were going down the river now that I try to remember it. Let's see.
Here we go.
This. You have this dog with you. You do things. You're being chased by wolves, I believe. You fight, but I think it's a repetitive thing where the river is just slightly different. It's kind of snapped together. Let's see. I think the problem, though, is there's just no story there. So I will want to play The Flame and the Flood some point, but I have no real motivation to play it now. I just watched the advertisement. I just watched the trailer, and it's a lot like so many other games, so many other survival games that are out there. Let's do this and this.
Here we go.
Do that. Moving on to the next story, Warframe's big open world expansion is out next week. And what Warframe is a free-to-play shooter that's actually very good. Who is saying this before I go any further? You're a gamer. Okay, not. None of them are really that trustworthy. Like, this very easily sounds like an advertisement hidden as an article. Free-to-play shooter. Who cares, really? Like, just on the face of it, Warframe could be the best game in the world. It doesn't matter one bit because it's free to play, and free to play things aren't worth my time as a critic, as somebody who's reviewing games, at least partially because it's I'm trying to see if they're worth buying for my audience. Let's see. Yeah. Free to play has some problems as far as getting coverage as far as my channel goes, and like, honestly, I've been lucky enough to be in a position where that doesn't even really affect, like, whether it wouldn't really affect my channel. Like, I have so many games on Steam that I haven't played, even though I went through probably 30 of the games that I got for free for November. There's so many more. Like, I am perfectly fine to probably never in my entire career play a free-to-play game. And I think that's closest to most PC gamers after about a year, like, being on Steam. One Steam summer sale probably gets you more than enough. Let's go ahead and kill this.
Here we go.
Battle.net has new social features in its mobile app. I think it probably also in the regular app, as far as the beta version of the regular app, is going to have a few more social features. However, that being said, I can't use Battle.net until it integrates into YouTube. None of these services are going to work at all unless they integrate into YouTube and people chat in YouTube and Battle.net. Unless the messages just get copied and pasted over. It does not matter. So that'll be helpful for people who only play Battle.net games, which is, like, how many people is that? People just playing StarCraft in Korea, and people just playing World of Warcraft, I suppose. But as far as a YouTuber, it doesn't help me one bit. Here's a game I haven't heard of called A Hat in Time, being reviewed by Eurogamer. It's probably not even for PC.
Calm down, I'm a doctor.
Probably should have held on to that one. Let's do that in return. My shoulder still hurts from
The menagerie is for guests.
from whatever I did to pull it. It says it's a PC 3D platformer, somewhat like Ukulele, which that's not good comparison at all because Ukulele kind of sucked. But I think I will want to look up this game and put it in my Steam library. But who knows if this game is even new? Like, I guess at the end of the day, I am fine to cover old games if somebody else is pushing or advertising or recommending to play an old game. I'm probably fine to mention that. Sometimes previously I've skipped over this and just said, well, that's not a new game, so it's not really news, and it really isn't news. But if by holding to such a strict standard, I'm eliminating things to talk about.
Warriors of the frozen wastes, rise.
Let's see. Looking at this game called Trackless now. It's a game where... Is this the game that is a text adventure that they put a 3D environment around it? Shoes of a member of a cult, worshippers of a strange enigmatic monolithic object. Assisted by your AI pal. Well, that didn't work. That didn't work at all. Assisted by your AI pal, you'll need to uncover the secret of the monolith while climbing the ranks of the cult. Did I see any of that in that trailer? Says the game, throughout the game you'll be guided by the game's textual feedback system that gives you prompts to use certain verbs to overcome various puzzles and challenges. I think this is the game.
This guy's
So is it the idea that you find verbs and then when you find the verbs they let you. This game trailer is awful, and it's an itch.io game. Let's just go over to its Steam page. See if something like the graphics on top of it in that trailer were simply covering up the real game graphics and making it worse. There's 5 user reviews right now, and none of them are being shown. We have one review. The very first review is the creator of the game.
This is our town, scrub.
And let's see. All the rest of the reviews seem to be good reviews. Let's see. There's literally no negative reviews of the 5. Of the, well, it says 21 reviews. I see 21 here. So this game is available for purchase right now, but nobody has bothered to do it. And the release date says it was September 12th. Wow. That is ridiculously a long time ago. This is one of the games that was funded by Fig. So I don't know, like I need to get some real reviews from some real people before I would bother to play this game, but there is something weird there that has caught my attention, but it might be all hype. It might very easily just be unimportant advertisement. This guy is gonna just let me go on forever in this game, which is fine. I'll just play the cards that I needed to play. TT Games announced the Lego Ninjago video game, or apparently announced is the wrong term. They made it and released it without me knowing anything about it. However, playing the TT Games Lego game series is still not gonna work on my PC, so I'm not going to play that. Not that I particularly have any interest in playing the Ninjago series. I know nothing about the Ninjago Lego series per se. There is some excellent news potentially, according to Game Sutra. Telltale Games, a different company from TT Games, is hiring a engine programmer, and that is amazingly good news because that implies that they are going to work on maybe replace their engine, which is garbage. Let's see, read the full listing here for the job. Telltale's core engineering group is responsible for developing low-level and mid-level libraries and tools used by Telltale's multi-platform downloadable game development system, the Telltale Tool, which the Telltale Tool is garbage, and that's what needs to be replaced. The Telltale Tool artists and designers and Lua programmers. Lua is a programming language, not particularly one I think used greatly by video game programmers.
Here we go.
To create tons of amazing content for tons. You're pushing it there, Telltale, for the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, Wii, iOS, PC, Mac, and Android. Interesting. No Xbox One X or PlayStation 4 Pro. The core engineering group creates true author once run anywhere technology, and that is certainly part of what. So your responsibilities would be, if you were this engine programmer, contribute to bringing the Telltale technology to new challenging platforms, Xbox One, PS4, mobile, and TV. Improve, they should underline that, and debug and extend existing platform technologies while building new features in order to meet the needs of the console, desktop, and high-end mobile devices. So, let's create clean APIs for internal tools and editors to supporting and cutting-edge game technology and lighting. A lot of this is just fluff. What you're really going to be asked to do could be anything in any job. So, like any job listing, it's mostly garbage. Create robust, long-lived, content-agnostic systems with abstraction layers that enable maximum cross-platform feature fidelity. Basically, that means make this so it will work for a long time, so we can fire you when you're done, and you don't have to debug and support it forever. Keep abreast of the latest developments in hardware and software via developer support conferences and publications. Wow, that's an odd requirement for a job. Be informed about the type of job you're in, and don't just know old stuff. It's probably a good thing to say up front. Is like, we want you to actually be interested and know about how your industry is changing. Contribute to the overall architecture and design of the technology plan of the company and any game titles. This is a big one here. A new engineer needs to come in and say, look, we can make a new Telltale tool and call it the Telltale tool, but it needs to almost be done from scratch. We can't really maintain and just fix what we've got, because that's not going to work. Analyze code performance and optimize appropriately for speed and memory usage. That is good too, because that is certainly things that are kind of lacking. Let's just keep killing things. The skills and experience needed for this job, if you're interested, is a Bachelor in Science degree in Computer Science or equivalent. 2 to 3 years of professional C++ STL experience is required. Interesting. You're going to be programming in Lua, but... well, you're going to be programming something for other people to program in Lua, but they want you to be a C++ STL experience. STL, I imagine, means standard libraries, but it might stand for something else. 1+ year of professional game development experience, including at least some development experience with current next-gen hardware. So you would have had to program at least one game, or for 1 year, for PS3, plus PS4, Xbox 360, or Xbox One.
You dare challenge the daughter of the queen?
Experiencing, let's see, deep understanding of current hardware tools and focus with a keen focus on measurement and analysis to improve performance. So they clearly want to improve performance in Telltale games, which is they needed to do a long time. Remember, from what I've heard, the Telltale tool does not even have a physics engine. So if you wanted a ball to roll across the floor, in most things like Unreal Unity, you would just say, make this ball, give it real gravity, give it real physics, let it roll down the floor as it naturally would. This sometimes leads to some very funny glitches, but generally it works a lot easier than what you have to do in Telltale games, which is animate every single frame of a ball as if it was just an animated object. I'm about to lose just from fatigue. But I'm playing the cards, so I'm getting everything done. Solid foundation in 3D math algorithms and 3D modern computing fundamentals. So they probably do want a physics engine in it. And I guess if they just redid the put a physics engine in the current Telltale tool, you might have something like a Mode 7 in Super NES where there's just going to be this version of the Telltale tool, this mode of it, that will get used by all the developers, and all the old modes will just kind of be in there for backward compatibility. And that might be a way of them not getting rid of the old code while not really using it. Let's see, I think I need one more road victory. But also I need to wrap up this recording because we're going to go long. Self-directing and independent, work efficiently within an existing engine structure. Experience maintaining and debugging a large legacy code base developed by multiple programmers over many years. Yeah, that's the big issue though. So if you're up to the challenge of fixing the Telltale tool and helping Telltale actually be a better company, because they've got a lot of investments and done a lot of good games recently, but then they kind of need to do some different things. They need to improve. That job is out there, and it's, as the video game player, very interesting and exciting to see that listed, because it's a signal that they want to change. And we have Mahmoud on the chat saying hi Mahmoud. Well, stay tuned if you're watching live. That's it for this recording. Otherwise, as always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.